I started to play the new Zelda game.
God bless.
Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Time, or Echoes of Wisdom, Jesus Christ.
God bless you.
I'm about, I don't know, 3-4 hours in, 5 hours in, pretty early on. And it hasn't clicked with me the way Zelda games usually do. But it's not surprising because it's a 2D Zelda game, and for me, the top-down Zeldas are always more... They're not my style. Like, the Zelda games I prefer are always the 3D ones and all that. So,
right.
So going into it, it's like I already had to put myself in that mindset where it's like, okay, it's a top-down one. I gotta, I just gotta take it for what it is. But then it's like, you're not Link anymore. You're actually playing as Zelda, and you're not swinging swords. You're casting spells, and like that is such a thing to wrap my head around because it's like, it's not like my first instinct when I see an enemy is to just start mashing B to swipe swords, but that's not what's happening. I gotta go into a menu. I gotta pick how I'm gonna attack this person, and it's fun, but it becomes a little tedious, especially the way these menus are laid out. I feel like Nintendo could have done a better job with these menus, but once you have like 40 things that you can summon and you got to pick one from this list that only scrolls horizontally, it's like, yo, I'm going to be a while. So, they could have done a better job with that for sure. Graphically, it looks like the Link's Awakening remake that they did a couple years ago, and I was a fan of that, so that's fantastic to me. I love the way it looks. I love the music. The music is a banger. The frame rate is an issue because I'm not one to really complain about frame rates, but this is a jarring fucking game the way it does it. You go from 60 to 30 constantly. Like, it's like you could just tell something's up,
right.
You're at 60, all of a sudden you're down to 30, then you're back at 60. There's no in between. It's like it's one or the other, and it becomes kind of like, I don't want to say nauseating, but Jesus, I think to the right person it could be nauseating. So that is something that's a real complaint I have. That and the menus. But other than that, the concept of the game of summoning essentially enemies to kill other enemies, it's almost like a Pokemon match at that point. But then you could also summon like a trampoline to get to a higher place, or you could summon a tree to block like a fan that's trying to blow you off the cliff. Like, there's a lot of... It's one of the most creative games I've ever played.
What?
In terms of like trying to solve puzzles and stuff, like it's awesome because there's a million ways you could probably solve a puzzle. The problem that they run into is once I found something that works, I don't really care to explore other ways. I'm just like, yo, trampoline again, bro. Like, I don't care. I don't care about anything else. We're using the trampoline again.
That's awesome.
But a lot of that is because the menu is so shitty. It doesn't make me want to explore other ways. It's the most convenient thing. Oh, the trampoline was last used. I'm using it again because I can. So
Ryan,
yeah.
Quick question for you. Would this be... It kind of reminds me of Astrobot in the sense of, when you were reviewing that game. Would you say that Astrobot does a better job of sort of cornering you into using the new thing that is trying to teach you in order to beat the level?
It does, but only because it only gives you one specific thing to beat the level.
Right.
Like
in this level, you're going to climb, and this one, you're going to swim a certain way or
you
move these buttons.
And the power up is it's these long arms to climb things. So you know that you're going to be climbing things in that level.
Right.
With this, it's like, okay, there's this cliff. It's too high to use a trampoline this time. So what do? You could either... I'm at the point where I could summon about 4 beds, okay? If you position the beds at halfway across each other, you can make a makeshift bridge kind of thing. I could do that, or I could just stack 2 trampolines instead and use another trampoline to get onto those 2 trampolines to get onto the cliff.
That's kind of cool.
It's like, it's cool as shit, but if they did a better job with the menus and make me want to actually go into them and try a different combination to maybe make it easier for myself in the future, that's where they would have struck gold. But because the menu is literally like one horizontal line and you're going left to right, and you can only sort it by most used, last learned, and something else, that's not going to give me easily full access to like everything I have in my inventory. So it's like, it always becomes this like, I swear I'm like 40% of the time I'm in a menu, maybe even 50%. And that is what kills it for me. But I will say that the game itself is cool. It's very creative and I like it. But goddamn, is it a chore to play when I start thinking about it too much? It's like, fuck, do I really want to be in these menus? Like, I have to convince myself to play the game. You know what I mean? Because I know once I'm playing it,
menus.
I'm having fun. But when I'm not playing it, I'm like, do I go back? It's like I'm thinking of other shit to play, but it's like, no, I want to finish it. But yeah, no, it's I don't know. It's a weird one. I want to give it a proper. I want to beat it first, and then I'll revisit it and give it a proper review. As of right now, I'm enjoying it. I like it. I just think a lot of it can be better. And I will say, it's reminding me a lot of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, the way it's structured with like side missions and all that. Because you would think a top-down Zelda would remind me of other top-down Zeldas. No, they took what Breath of the Wild would be if it was a top-down Zelda. Because it's an open world, it's huge, but it's top-down. It's very odd. You can tell that they love this new direction. And I don't know how I feel about it. Because I think being top-down, I would have liked a more linear game, you know? But it's fine. It's cool.
I think as long as the game does different things to sort of reinvent itself. So when the game does something like, oh, you're expecting this, but no, it's completely different now. You're going to have to do this other thing instead. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah. Must be hard to not be able to whip out a sword and kill some people when you have to rely on your other abilities as Zelda, right?
It's insane because it's like muscle memory. Like right? It's like, what the fuck? It's funny, though. You do get a power-up that you could technically turn into Link because Link, when Link disappears, he dropped his sword and Zelda picks it up. But the thing is, you're on a time limit when you use that.
Right.
You're probably using the sword for 15 seconds and then it goes away. And because of that, I don't even bother. I'm like, no, I might as well just stick to the summoning stuff because I need to wrap my head around the way the game is working. I can't rely on the sword this time, right?
Yeah.
And then they introduced that now I have bow and arrows after my last boss encounter. So It's like they want to put Link in there somehow, you know? It's weird as hell, but whatever.
That's
still
tough.
A fine game.
It's like having a Metal Gear game without Solid Snake.
Yeah, but they still want to give you like his headband.
Yeah,
and his gun.
That's not Snake though. That's some other guy. That's Raiden, piece of shit.
No one liked that blonde motherfucker.
Oh my god! Imagine buying a Mario game, but you got to play as Toad. You know, like a quarter of the way through. I thought you
were gonna say Luigi, but you made it worse by saying Toad.
No, because Luigi's a star, right? Luigi's like he has his own host of games, right?
Yeah. If you guys like this video, be sure to check out the rest of the channel and consider subscribing. Go even further and subscribe to Podcast Fresh wherever you listen to your podcast for new episodes every week.